we had now an interesting point from Alexei that Cyprus lacks startups. And we are entering the AI era. We are already here. I think that AI was the most trendiest word and the topic for last 18 months or so. And maybe it is the technology which is so much integrated now in our business life and our personal life. So it's very interesting to talk about this angle as well. There are a lot of discussions on the legislations matter in Europe and in USA, and we all understand that Cyprus falls behind. We still not in the AI strategy, we're still not discussing AI legislation. So we decided to make the panel discussion to talk about this. And the topic is the K in AI, shaping Cyprus as the center of emerging technologies. Our panelists will discuss the critical need for Cyprus to adopt this movement and not to fall behind the global competition, because we are far behind of digital era, so let's not be behind of the AI era. And now, without further ado, because my colleagues and my fellow speakers are already next to the stage, please welcome our speakers. Angelo Dalli, Chief Scientist at Umnai. Stavrinos Kyriakou, Startups and ISV Strategy Lead for Microsoft Southeast Europe. Theodoros Loukaidis, General Director of the Research and Innovation Foundation. Ivan Sysoev, Business Unit Chief AI Officer, attention here, at Quadcode. And we also have our partner and the moderator for this discussion, Michael Tyrimos, Founder and Manager Director of Capacitor Partners.
Thank you, Tanya. Welcome, everyone. Maybe we should start by asking ChatGPT how we can reduce the background noise. So, you good? Oh, good. So I'm going to start by asking who here has used a generative AI model, whether it's ChatGPT, Google, Gemini, or something similar in the last 24 hours? A lot. So this shows us that although the AI has been long evolving through the decades, we are now at the largest commercialization phase of artificial intelligence. And there's a race to the top for that. In the last year alone, the United States has invested 62 billion in venture capital for AI. China has invested around 7 billion, and the European Union, as it declared together with the UK, 9 billion. There is certainly a gap, but we're certainly moving forward. And in the middle of all of this, there is Cyprus. We are aspired to become a tech island. There's a lot of effort, a lot of good companies are relocating in Cyprus right now. So this is what our discussion will be today. But without further ado, I will start by asking each of our speakers to introduce themselves for a couple of minutes and share their opening statement on the state of AI today. Angelo, let's go with you first.
Hi. I'm Angelo Dalli. I've been working in AI for the last 2 decades, applying AI solutions for the last 20 years to different industries, and helping companies and startups in Europe and North America primarily set up. I'm a tech entrepreneur myself and have set up like 8 different companies, but also invested in a lot of startups, including AI startups over the years. Obviously, my 20-year view on AI gives me a little bit of perspective into what has worked and what hasn't. And I can see that while the generative AI algorithms that have started to become popular are here to stay. this is not something that is just a boom that is going to die off, like some other technologies did, but it is something that is going to here to stay and to evolve. So it's an exciting time actually to be in this field and to see it grow, and you know what is going to be the next thing.
Thank you. Stavrinos?
Hello from my side as well. I'm happy to be here. I'm Stavrinos Kyriakou. I'm currently leading Microsoft's strategy for startups, for ISVs and digital natives across Southeast Europe. So I've been working with technology organizations for probably the past 20 years. And what we're going through right now, what we're witnessing right now with artificial intelligence, it's something extraordinary. We haven't seen it before. And I really believe that's changing the world in two main ways. One of them is how we do our day-to-day tasks in a personal perspective, and the other is on how we do business. So just to give you a personal experience, if we were having this discussion a couple of years back, and you asked me how you are productive in your day-to-day tasks, I would say I'm using a browser and a productivity suite. In less than a year, co-pilots and artificial intelligence have become a core component of my productivity. So this is amazing. I'm using it, first of all, to correct my code because I'm a lousy developer. I use it to spark the creative process. I use it to filter out the web. So that's something really important. And I think everyone in the room, from what I've seen before in your question, a lot of people are using it already. On the business perspective, I can say that in the past year, 8 out of 10 startups and ISVs that come to Microsoft have a discussion about artificial intelligence. Either artificial intelligence is a core component, or artificial intelligence, they want to utilize it in their products. And the same goes for customers, for industries. So everyone is trying to adopt artificial intelligence, to utilize it, but most importantly, they're trying to understand it. And just to close up, understanding artificial intelligence is really important.
Yes.
So while everyone is excited about artificial intelligence, it's a new technology, and it's moving in a fast pace. So while we're trying to adopt it, we need to have our minds on responsible AI. For example, inclusivity, security, fairness, transparency, accountability. All of those are things that we need to have in mind in order to create something that has guardrails, and it's going to be beneficial for everyone.
Very, very good point. Mr. Loukaidis.
Good morning. I'm Theodoros Loukaidis. Thank you for the invite to be on this panel. I am the Director General of the Research and Innovation Foundation, the national funding agency. I'm here to offer perspectives from the government funders' point of view. I'm not going to talk about the technology as such. I can talk about where the money is available if you're looking to develop solutions on AI. And we have 3 different perspectives. The first perspective is developing the next models. That's the research side of things. Yep. Can we do it? Do we have a right to play? Because at the moment it's in the hands of the US and China. Then we're talking about the applications of AI. And AI has transformative capabilities that they cut across. And therefore, they can find applications in Cyprus. And that is also something we're looking to fund. And this is not just the funding agency in Cyprus. This is in discussions with my peers in funding agencies across Europe. This is also another perspective that we need to look into, the application of AI in key sectors of our economy to boost productivity, to push the efficiency frontier. And then, as Stavrinos said, there are ethical questions. Yep. Who's got control of AI? Who's processing your data? What is right or wrong in AI? Therefore, we need interdisciplinarity. Therefore, the social sciences and humanities do also have a role to play in all the research and innovation that is taking place. So from that perspective, I'm here to comment on that, and I look forward to the discussion.
And it's very interesting when you said we are here to show where the money is, the room kind of went quiet. Ivan?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan Sysoev. I am the Chief AI Officer of Quadcode, and probably one of the last generations to go through university and school without the use of generative AI. For the better or worse, my background is mathematical, but from a professional side, it's market making and the financial part. I'm here to offer some perspectives, not only on the mathematical side and how we can progress with AI, but also in Cyprus. It's very important for us also as a company, as Quadcode, and for me, to push the agenda of AI, the implementation of AI from the business side, and to motivate the companies who are either our friends, competitors, whoever they are, to also commit to using AI and promoting AI in the same way that we are committed to it. So very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So going back to Angelo, you're one of the people who actually advised the European Union on how to form the regulation around AI, and the EU was the first to produce such regulation. So Angelo, my question to you would be, how does this regulation affect the decision of AI companies to operate within Europe versus other regions with more lenient regulation? And also, what are the innovation catalysts in these regions that attract AI companies?
That's a very interesting question. In fact, when I was advising the EU, and I also sit on the ISO committees on global AI regulation, one of my main focuses is on trustworthy AI. How do we make AI that it can actually explain itself, its decision-making process? How can we actually trust AI to make decisions that impact human lives? So this all stems from that. And obviously, safety is important in preventing abuse of data, because at the end, you can have the most powerful AI system. It's not going to do anything by itself that is harmful. It's the people who will use it to do things that are harmful and abuse of it, basically. And this is something that is very important to get right. I think that the EU AI Act, which is actually now soon in force and is going to be applicable to all the European companies, I think has been made in a way that it will not stifle innovation, because it applies to very narrow focused application areas that are actually high impact. For example, surveillance. If you have surveillance in the public, you're not allowed to do that unless you have certain criteria met. I don't think it's going to really stifle innovation in consumer products. For example, yes, if you're doing something in healthcare, you have to make sure that the AI has been calibrated and tested. But, I think as a consumer, I do want to know that if the AI has made a diagnosis, I can actually rely on it. Yep. So the US is also getting into similar patterns of legislation. China is also doing this. So I think that we're seeing a convergence and people realizing we're unleashing these powerful systems on the world. If we don't unleash them in a safe way, we may get results that are, a lot of unintended consequences, basically. Yeah. And I think this is very important to get right. I think the catalyst for innovation is making sure that we have access to data in a right way and not stifling that. And also the doom and gloom naysayers of this overhyping that AI is going to kill us all. AI is very far from that. And let's get on with it and develop new stuff, basically.
So we're not going to mention Skynet today.
No, thanks.
Thank you, Angelo, for that. And it's very important because you highlighted what Stavrinos also said before about responsible AI. We're unleashing something powerful in the world. It's becoming super commercialized now, so we have to be responsible for it. So moving on to Stavrinos. Stavrinos, you have worked with various regions across the world with Microsoft, and you helped infuse technologies in those regions. You've worked with Cyprus, Malta, Greece, and so forth. So having seen startups and companies launch AI models and commercialize AI models pretty much in these regions, what are the lessons learned that Cyprus can learn from, if I may say it like that?
Good. That's an excellent question. I think that startups are a core component for any technology to develop, and especially AI nowadays. From working with, I would say, similar DNA ecosystems like Malta or Greece, I wouldn't say that their approach to startups or AI is vastly, more impactful than ours. But the main difference is that their strategy or their message outside, it's much more clear and much more structured, I would say. So it seems that for other countries, startups, their development, artificial intelligence are crucial components for the growth of the country. And this is something that I believe that we could do better at Cyprus. So I understand and I recognize that we've done steps forward, like we announced the AI national plan, there's a startups visa, there's like the Cyprus Entrepreneurship Fund, but these are all different and siloed initiatives. There's no coherent or unified strategy when it comes to startups and artificial intelligence. And my opinion is that the state should act as a binding agent for the ecosystem of startups, like bring everyone together. Startups, accelerators, technoparks, investments agencies, anything. So this is not done right now. And I think it's really important for Cyprus to first build the structures, have a unified strategy when it comes to startups and AI, and be able to communicate that message in an effective way, like Malta is doing with Starting Malta, or like Greece is doing right now with Elevate Greece. Another point is that we keep talking on how we attract investments. I really think that we also should look on how we cultivate the environment in Cyprus. How do we inspire and incentivize young people to create artificial intelligence companies, be entrepreneurs, risk, like create that ecosystem on our own. Because becoming a technology hub, it's not only attracting investments, it's like having your own services, your own product. So I really think these two components need to be addressed by a unified state strategy. And if we do that, I think it's going to be very beneficial for the whole ecosystem.
You touched upon a very important point, the strategy part. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago when the government issued a national strategy on AI, but I don't think it went forward, so we're going to touch upon that later. But coming to how the state can support such startups in AI, deep tech in general, I'll ask the next question to Theodoros. So Theodoros, you support you're bridging academia with industry, you provide the funds for such research, you support such startups, and of course there are always challenges, but also opportunities. So from your perspective, I would like you to tell us how the state supports such research, research in AI, and how it supports the commercialization. And it would be good if you have any success stories to mention as well. Thank you.
So let me see if I can make a comeback or return the point back.
Here we go again.
Right. So there is a strategy, and the government wants to do more to support the creation of startups and scale-ups from Cyprus to the world. We do have a number of funding tools in place, and the number of applications that we receive that have AI in it, either creating the next model for AI or applying AI into key sectors of our economy is going through the roof. So if you are a researcher, and we do have great research talent in this country, people who have been out there in the best universities in the world, and they choose to come back because of the incentives the government offers to be here. They are working and they're plugging in into the global research networks. And this is where we can help through European partnerships, bilateral agreements. There is one running at the moment with the Israel Innovation Authority, who obviously they're a far more advanced country than we are in AI and in general in innovation and entrepreneurship. But also the Horizon Europe programs that give you the opportunity to work together with researchers from all other countries to push knowledge into a new level. From there on the innovation side, we have a small ticket of 120,000. So if you're looking to create a new startup in AI, in any sector of the economy, we're technology agnostic, we're sector agnostic, you go for 120,000. This is to make your first development towards an MVP. You can continue, and we've showcased some success stories earlier today, onto the seed program. That gives you $500,000. Now you're developing your product in the AI domain. Most probably $500,000 is enough to take you into the market. So you can use that, and now you're in the market. Obviously, the journey doesn't stop there. You can tap into 700,000 to 1 million to further develop and enhance your AI-based product. and expand into international markets. And then this is where we pass it on to the private markets. This is where we believe, and especially in the case of AI, the money, the investments in R&D are in the hands of corporates nowadays. They're investing more, 142 billion, the total level of investment by corporates into AI last year. So a scheme like the Disrupt program, which is a blended finance scheme, we give you 1.5 million equity free, but we need you to have a VC partner in it. We want them to drive you into the markets. These are things that we cannot fund as a government. We cannot fund your marketing campaigns. We're not allowed to do that. But we rely on the VCs and the partnership between the RIF and VCs to take products into the market and scale up into the international markets. And the good thing about Cyprus, in a lot of the areas, we have a competitive disadvantage when it comes to logistics. But AI and ICT do not have these barriers. So it's a great place to start, use it as a test bed, and launch from here. You can fine-tune the product here and take it on to the international markets. We also offer a lot of opportunities through co-develop program to work together with the research organizations in Cyprus. There is a lot of good knowledge in research organizations in Cyprus. You get a ticket of 600,000 euros. This is to actually go and find someone in a research organization, be it a university, one of the 7 centers of excellence that are here in Cyprus. The research institutes is not just about the models. You are right. It's also about tapping into a lot of data. They hold a lot of data. It could be a biobank. It could be the transport systems, the Ministry of Transport, that they're looking to introduce AI on driving urban mobility and the transitions into urban environments. So we have also the data, and the good thing is that it's easier to access them through programs like the co-develop. 600,000, go and work with them, tap into the data, co-develop together. And the good thing for you guys is that you have the IP, it remains with you. So it's very important. IP in this case is copyright primarily. It stays with you. So you can then develop it into a product. So we have a plethora of funding tools. The number of applications is going through the roof. We're trying to secure more funding nationally and from the European Commission to pump into the system, and we want to see more in AI from Cyprus.
The IP part is very important because it's usually what hinders commercialization from universities. So this is very important. And the most important part is if you're thinking about applying for a grant, you can find this gentleman in the networking afterwards. And as you said, the journey doesn't end here. So, Theodoros, you mentioned about funding from the corporates. And we know that foreign corporations do a lot of foreign direct investment, the FDI, in Cyprus, and they relocate here. And as a result, we get a lot of good companies and a lot of good talent coming in Cyprus. One of such corporations being Quadcode. So coming to Ivan. Ivan, you've been in Cyprus for more than 10 years. Now you're the chief AI of Quadcode. And very soon you're organizing a hackathon, the first of its kind that is specialized in AI and fintech. So I would like you to share your opinion. What do you think makes AI companies and talent attracted to a country? So if we had to make Cyprus more attractive, what would that be, and how would it compare to other hubs? Theodoros mentioned Israel. There are other key AI hubs around the world right now. So in your opinion, what are those factors?
Thank you very much for the question and for the hackathon shout out. Yes, this is definitely these kinds of events, I believe, raising the awareness for AI in our country, help this kind of attraction to our country for AI companies. However, there are a lot of factors why Cyprus is a unique place for AI companies and for AI talent. Of course, except from the beautiful weather and wonderful place to live, there's tax incentives for people to move to Cyprus. There's grants available for research, for development of new models. Infrastructure, thanks to cloud computing, is now global, so we're not limited to having servers in our basements. We can work from anywhere in the world. And Cyprus specifically is a great place because we have the industries that will truly benefit from the AI innovation. For example, the 3 rising stars that we see recently that benefit the most from labor productivity growth using AI is financial services, IT, and professional services. So Cyprus is very rich in having in these sectors, and it can boost collaboration between AI companies. They can find already customers in Cyprus to grow their companies before they use it as a launch pad to launch it on the global market. And we know that the productivity growth can be up to 5 times. Recently, we had a LinkedIn Connect event hosted at our company, where one of the important statistics that was shared by Our World and Data was that Cyprus currently has some of the largest hours worked per week from the EU and globally in general, but unfortunately some of the lowest productivity per hour worked. So we're hovering at about $40 per hour worked. But by using AI, we can truly boost this output up to 5-fold. This is the current estimations. So for my opinion, the key for Cyprus, except from, of course, what my fellow panelists have mentioned already, is upskilling. Upskilling, upskilling, upskilling. According to the PwC AI Jobs Barometer that got published not very long ago for 2024, AI skills and job postings carry a premium for hiring. It's around 25% on average. But in some industries, such as, for example, software development, this premium of price per employee can go up to 58%. However, upskilling your employees that you already have in your company carries virtually marginally no cost. So increasing the skills in AI literacy, AI ML inference, natural language programming can really boost productivity with the staff you already have, which will also help you to boost AI awareness in Cyprus and engage other AI companies to come and contribute to our ecosystem. And this is very important, not only from the business side, to empower with AI, not replace with AI. Because we remember all the scare in the United States especially of all truck drivers will be replaced with AI trucks. So let's riot and prohibit the use of AI. No, we want to encourage and empower people to use AI in their day-to-day tasks, not only professionally, but also in their personal life and their private life. Of course, policy needs to help with this. We should discuss definitely some safety nets. For example, in industries which currently do not have AI, so provide an incentive for people to boost their AI skills to perhaps pivot into an post-AI age-related industry to be able to adapt to it, to provide the safety nets for this retraining of potential entrants into the AI market. And from the businesses, we need to completely and crucially specify that we're moving into the age of skill-based hiring. So more and more we're noticing that companies are no longer hiring just based on where your degree is from or how far did you go with your education. Through educational programs and courses that also, for example, we have available in Cyprus, you can prove that you are very capable in a specific skill, that you're able to close a gap within a business. This is very important, not to discriminate against these candidates and to boost our local job market and to encourage foreign job markets to join ours in order to boost the AI ecosystem of Cyprus.
Very important points, and I will actually capitalize on that. Gentlemen, you're all experts in your fields, and today we're in the presence of a lot of decision makers, including His Excellency, the Deputy Minister of Research and Innovation. So, as a closing statement, I would like each one of you to share your point of view, if you would make a recommendation on how we could attract more talent in Cyprus in terms of AI and making the environment more friendly for AI companies to be situated here, what would it be? Angelo?
That's a very good point. Having helped other countries also build up ecosystems around AI and tech startups, I think the educational system needs to be obviously the foundation of the human resources who are actually going to create the startups and actually develop the AI of the future. I think so that is kind of the base start that you need to get really right. And obviously having the confluence of VC funding, business angel funding, you know, the whole startup ecosystem that supports it. I think these are kind of the main things. And then obviously infrastructure. So obviously we have the Microsoft guy here. But the infrastructure is very important because if you don't have the right infrastructure to support cloud computing, to get the right access to the computing resources, you're not going to get anywhere, basically. So I think these are all the key ingredients that are needed. Having events like this is also important to exchange ideas, to have, you know, like that pool of people who are exchanging ideas that are helping each other out and like also getting inspired by each other. together, I think that's very important because it can be very easy to be isolated in an island. So I think this is also an important aspect to overcome. And obviously having a few key success stories is important, but you know, those take time to develop, basically.
But once they do, we've seen what happened in Estonia, that there was one unicorn, then 2, 3, 4. Stavrinos?
Yeah, really quick. As Theodoros said, there's a lot of incentives to research and develop artificial intelligence in Cyprus. And as Ivan said, Cyprus is a good destination for companies to come and work here. I would say, if I had like one suggestion, I would say we need to be a bit more intentional in our message outside and be more, communicate that clarity in a more structured way. Something like, I don't know, Malta.ai or Elevate Greece, which are like digital communication tools, which, you know, startups can understand what are the fundings in Cyprus, in Greece and Malta respectively, what are the opportunities in those countries, what's the support. That would make us like not also having the infrastructure and the processes and the incentives, but it would also help us communicate the message better outside.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Theodoros?
Well, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of having international, multinational corporations in the island. They act like magnets, they bring in the good talent, and of course they have the spillover effects into the economy. From there on, we're doing a lot. The government is doing a lot to upskill people. We're investing also as a Research Innovation Foundation in the younger generation and the generation after next to equip them with the skills. I agree with Stavrinos, we do need to do more on communicating what we have, because every time I look at the toolbox, I see that pretty much every tool we need is in there, but you cannot put a nail on the wall if you use a screwdriver. So you need to choose the right tools. So we have all these great technologies that we can use to our advantage to communicate. I'm glad to share with all of you that next week, the Research Innovation Foundation will be enabling chatbots using AI to address any queries, specific queries onto our funding programs, to support you, to be there 24/7, to digitalize more the experience. And we're doing more also from our perspective to upgrade our capabilities on the digital side of things, because if we want you to innovate, we have to innovate first. We have to lead the way into the future.
Is this the first time you announced that in public?
Yes.
So first announcement.
First announcement. You got exclusivity, Michael.
So you heard it first at TechIsland Summit. Thank you. Ivan?
Yes, I would like to speak directly to business decision makers and educators. And of course, to convince, I have some numbers to back it up. According to the McKinsey survey of hundreds of thousands of companies, 42% of organizations last year have reported cost reduction from implementing AI tools in their company in at least one business unit. And 59% of organizations have even reported revenue increases. And for high schools, this is a very important statistics. Now for the educators, in 2022, 201,000 computer science advanced placements exams were administered. That's a 10 times increase since 2007. Of course, there's always the issue of access to computers and access to software. However, we can also move in these two specific vectors. Businesses dare to invest in AI. It may look a little bit scary at first and costly, but trust me, the trends are showing us everywhere that AI tools are the next thing. It's not a fad. It is no longer just something that goes on undercover. This is the next vector of innovation inside of businesses. And to support the growth in the future, we need to educate the next generation to be prepared for businesses who have already integrated AI into their day-to-day work. So start with the high schools, start with the businesses, and we can move forwards with support, of course, by policy.
Thank you for that. So education, infrastructure, right tools, the right policy, understanding how businesses can adopt it, and of course, call to action. We have exactly 2 minutes. So we can take a couple of questions. Artemis said yes, so we're going to go ahead. The Slido screen is off, though. We have 1.5 minutes. We need the Slido screen. It's not working. Can we go manually? Here you go, sir.
Just a quick point on AI safety and maybe what's your opinion about it. My point is basically the fact that there's the concept of NP completeness in mathematics, so the idea that you have certain problems such as completing a crossword or Sudoku or whatever, where it's hard to find the solution, but once you find it, it's easy to verify. So this is my reply to AI safety. We can use AI just to find solutions that are hard to find, but then humans can check that they're OK before we deploy them. And I think that's the sensible way. So how does that reflect to your ideas about AI safety and what we should do and not be doomers of AI here?
Let's go first.
Yeah, so the problem with this, for example, I was having discussions with some of the lead tech guys, for example, at Boeing and Airbus. So, for example, you can't use neural networks, modern neural networks, on airplanes because the systems that are used right now to understand those systems can maybe get like 98% of the understanding of what's actually going on. You don't want to be on the plane in those 2% when you don't know actually what the neural network is doing. So even though there is this really advanced AI, actually the problem is that, for example, the creators like OpenAI do not know actually how ChatGPT really works. I mean, you know the algorithm, you know the ways, but you don't actually know how it's actually going through the process. And this is a problem. Like if you're going to put that into something that is mission critical, it's going, to your life depends on it, it's obviously going to be something. So the world needs to develop this techniques actually to be able to introspect and make the AI tell you exactly how it is deciding upon something.
Yep. Another one question before we close? Yep.
I would like to ask you, what is the current position of Cyprus when it comes to deep tech and the use of emerging technologies to solve social and environmental challenges? Are you planning to expand in that direction as well? Thank you.
Very good question.
So in deep tech, and what was the second part?
Basically use of emerging technologies to solve social and environmental challenges, because that's what is deep tech by the new innovation agenda.
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question. So the Research Innovation Foundation is actually funding deep tech innovation. And we do have thematic calls in these particular areas because obviously it's also very well aligned with the European Union priorities from which we get some of the funding, or our funding programs are co-funded. So we have a number of funding programs specifically to address those challenges. I'm going to name a few. The co-develop green transition is one of them. We have one coming up, co-develop on the environment side, where we set specific challenges which are in line with the smart specialization strategy of Cyprus, where some of these challenges are named and put specifically in the context of Cyprus. But as we always do, because we recognize that Cyprus is a small island, we want you to start from here, but think big, act bigger, and we're looking for solutions that can address global challenges. So there is funding available. The innovation programs are bottom-up. We've actually funded some projects recently on ESG, AI-driven compliance. So we do have a lot of examples of that, and I'm sure if you go through our work documents and the programs we announced, you're going to find the challenge that you're talking about. And if you have deep tech solutions, please bring them and put them in as proposals in one of our funding programs.
Excellent. They're notifying me that the time is up. I encourage you to continue the Q&A session in the networking. Gentlemen, thank you for your time today. A round of applause for our amazing speakers. Thank you.